Hello, I'm Don Ward, Chief Executive of CIB, and in this episode of CIB in Conversation, where I'm talking to the keynote speakers for the World Building Congress, which will be in June 2022 in Melbourne, Australia, I was talking to Corey Hannett, Director General at the Major Transport Infrastructure Authority in Victoria, Australia. I hope you enjoy the conversation, and a big thank you to our sponsors of the World Building Congress and also of this series of videos.
Okay, I'm Corey Hannett, the Director General, leading the Major Transport Infrastructure Authority, the MTIA in Victoria, Australia. My job is to run a large program, well over $80 million, 165 road and rail infrastructure projects, and I lead the program, and a big part of my role is to coordinate between the projects and all the resources required to deliver them. Some of the big projects include the Metro Tunnel, the Westgate Tunnel project, level crossing removals, the North East Link, Geelong Fast Rail, Melbourne Airport Rail Link, and the Suburban Rail Loop.
Well, Corey, we're really looking forward to having you as a keynote speaker at the World Building Congress in June in Melbourne. Obviously, all our fingers are crossed that we'll all be able to attend. So thank you for agreeing to be a keynote speaker and for introducing your role there. I mean, before we talk some more about your role and the content of the speech, I know a lot of our guests and our viewers will be interested to know a little bit about your career journey and how you got to where you are. So could you say a little bit about sort of how do you come to be Victoria's Director General of the Major Transport Infrastructure Authority?
Well, probably the first thing in my background was that my grandfather had an engineering business for well over 70 years and employed a lot of people. And so I grew up around infrastructure being built in country, rural New South Wales and Victoria. So I always had a bit of a desire to get into engineering. So when I finished high school, I did a civil engineering degree. So once I graduated, I went and got a job working for Boral Resources. So they're a large supply organisation in Australia of road materials and various other things in their graduate program. And from there, I went into work for Balderstone Hornet who became Lendlease. And probably the first big project that I worked on was the Melbourne City Link in the late 90s. And from there, I progressed. I came into work for the Victorian Government and was working my way up, first of all, delivering a project and then becoming responsible for a program of works. And I've been in my current role, I'm sort of in my 9th year now. So what has happened in my current role, the volume of the work is, 10 years ago, there was one project on the go. Now we've got multiple jobs all at once. So it's somewhat different than what it was, 10 or 20 years ago.
And what would you say explains the growth of that number of jobs? I mean, obviously it's an increased investment in infrastructure. Do you think the message has got across what the value of that investment is?
I think we're catching up. So, if you look at the Metro Tunnel project, we haven't built another rail line since 1985. So it'll be 40 years when the Metro Tunnel opens that the last rail tunnel was built, and the system's at capacity. So we need to build these infrastructure projects now because the constraints in the system, like Melbourne just will not be able to function, or Victoria won't function without doing all of this work. And the same thing with the Westgate Freeway. The Westgate Bridge was built. It opened in 1977, and there was no other bridge across the Yarra. So the Westgate Tunnel, it's really needed. The freeway, the Princess Highway, or the Westgate Freeway is completely congested, and it's just it probably something should have been built 20 years ago. Level crossings, we're one of the very few cities around the world that has a couple hundred crossings, and and they're a problem because they congest the road network when you're running all these trains in and out of the city in the morning and afternoon peak. So there's some examples. Plus, we also do a lot of arterial road upgrades where we duplicate roads. So same thing. You've got to create the capacity, otherwise the system actually it'll come to a standstill. So yeah, I think governments are far more savvy about the fact of what they need to do, and I think the community are demanding it as well. So from that point of view, it's good for people who work in the construction sector. There's plenty of opportunity out there, and quite frankly, we've got a workforce of probably well over 50,000 now across directly, indirectly across the program, and we are running out of people. A skills shortage is something that we're currently working on. And what that does mean, though, for young people in particular, it provides a fantastic opportunity to be involved in big infrastructure projects, and that's sort of something I was lucky enough to happen to me. So can't encourage enough everybody to get on board and be a part of the program.
And what would your message be to students or people still at school, perhaps thinking about careers? Why construction and infrastructure compared with other options that they might have?
Well, I think first of all, you're part of it. The infrastructure, the big build program we have. It's a game changer in terms of the infrastructure pipeline that we've got, and the learning opportunity is just incredible. Lots of pressure though, so I'm not going to downplay the fact that you be put under immense pressure, but I think that's how people learn. So I think my message is be keen to listen and learn how to go, be involved, be open to new opportunities, and there is a great environment for the young generation to be involved in these jobs. And look, we also have a graduate program of over 100 graduates a year, so I encourage everybody to jump on the website and have a look at all the information regarding that at the moment.
That's a sizable program. I mean, how do you relate and collaborate with the research sector and the university sector, both in terms of research, but also in terms of people development and talent identification?
Yeah, we do a bit of that. We've actually done a lot of through RMIT in particular, safety research. We've done 2 or 3 programs, and we're in constant communication with all the universities about their cohorts coming through the system. So,
how is what are some of the challenges, particularly that you're facing now with the scale of program that you've got there in Victoria? And because I know this is some of the issues that you're going to be talking about in June at the World Building Congress. So perhaps you'd like to give us a little trailer of 1 or 2 of the points that you'd like to highlight when we're all together.
Yeah, so I think a key part of my role, as I said before, is to coordinate the program. I think really the biggest challenge and the most important aspect of the whole program is people, and getting the right people, the right skills with the right culture to work the right way. And that is part of our mantra, part of our culture, and working together and working as a team. Treating the community with respect and sincere gratitude is also a big part of what we do, because we have a big impact on the community by doing road and rail closures and working 24/7 around the clock near people's homes and businesses, and that's certainly a big aspect of the program. Culturally, you've got to get it right, and that's a big focus for me. So I'm constantly on the look for making sure that we don't have people out there who aren't representing the program in the right way.
Is there any sort of learning so far that stands out when you talk about treating the community with respect? Because I'm quite sure there'll be plenty of people watching this and listening to you in June in Melbourne who face similar challenges, but perhaps haven't got as far as thinking about these issues in such detail as yourselves.
Yeah, well, depending on what job it is, like for example, with the Metro Tunnel, we had to excavate a tunnel under Swan Street, through the middle of the CBD. So instead of actually digging the street up, we actually built shafts and put acoustic sheds over the top of them. So what that meant was we could keep working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we weren't affecting the nearby business owners and residents the same way we would have been done in a more conventional way. And that became part of our environmental effect statement, which sort of by law we got approval of how we were going to build the job. That's what we did. But there's always places where we're touching communities or residents and businesses where I suppose treating them with respect and care and making sure that they're adequately actually treated. Probably the best way, the most simplistic way I'd say it. And look, you just can't do enough of it. So you're only as good as today. Tomorrow's a new day, and you might do something today which actually might not necessarily be in the spirit of the culture of the program. So, look, I think we have a pretty good relationship with the community and with businesses, but people are affected by what we build, and we can't lose sight of that. And that's something that it's huge. It's a huge part of what we do.
You're describing something that perhaps I don't think it would be controversial to say the industry hasn't been strong at these sorts of things in the past necessarily in other parts of the world. So, I mean, how important has the role of the client, your own organisation as the client, if you like, the customer for this, been in ensuring these higher standards?
Yeah, well, it's pretty simple. As the client, we own the responsibility. But who does it? It's actually irrelevant. And we're only as good as how our contractors perform. So, we have a contingent of people working across the program who are responsible in this area. And that flows all the way back up to me, my CEOs and their directors. They're all responsible. And, just because the builders are building the work doesn't mean that we're not responsible for the treatment and management of the interface with the community and business.
And you're managing a large number of projects concurrently there. Are there any lessons you've had or that you can share around sort of managing the whole program rather than just individual projects?
Yeah, we've got a pretty big lessons learned framework which we share across the program. So, for example, safety, OH&S, when we have near misses and some accidents, we actually share the lessons across the program to make sure that all the projects actually understand what has occurred. That's one example with the level crossings program. They've got a very robust program of lessons learned where they I'll give you an example. We built a rail bridge and flyovers on a rail extension project, and we got this superstructure design up that actually it's made it a lot more efficient and easy to build rail bridges. And that design now is getting used across the program on all the level crossings where there are rail flyovers. And it's quite a nifty design. It took a couple of years to actually nut out, and it'll be used elsewhere as well, not just for level crossings. So there's a smaller sport of those types of things that we do, that we share, and that's just ingrained into our business.
And as a state-funded public sector organisation, do you feel like you have a duty of responsibility to share these lessons, even wider than that across the whole industry?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, there's no reason that we can't look. We spend a lot of time interacting with New South Wales as well, government. Their program, they've got a big program as well. But no, not at all. I think it's the industry that should benefit from it, not just the MTIA, and that's what we do.
Well, so what will you be emphasising in June in terms of the importance for CIB members and others who attend the World Building Congress, largely an audience of researchers and those interested in innovation and from the industry?
Okay, well, how we go about planning and building infrastructure in Victoria, and how does it contribute to our future is what the topic is that I'm covering. In terms of how we coordinate the approach and what we're doing, what the focus of our 4 key areas will be. So number one, you've no doubt picked up on people is actually what it's all about. So investing in our people on the program. Sharing lessons across the program, pursuing opportunities. So, how do you go about getting into these places, and promoting coordinated approaches to dealing with common issues. So they're the 4 key topics that the key areas that I'll be talking about. I don't know of many organisations across the globe that have a program as large. The fact we're doing road and rail projects in the program is unique, and we need to make sure we're doing it on the top of our game, and we do it in an efficient and safe and collaborative manner. Probably the other thing too, which isn't lost on me, brownfields infrastructure projects with the bulk of what ours are. They're very complex. So building infrastructure in the built environment where you've got you're confined to a lack of space and place, so certainly is a big challenge with these big jobs. And when you got only a couple of hundred, you're not going all at once. That certainly puts a fair bit of pressure on everybody.
And people are going to be coming from all over the world, we hope, we trust. And how will you look forward to the World Building Congress? What's the value for you of being a keynote speaker there and being able to interact with all our stakeholders and attendees?
Yeah, I think it's to share our business, what we're doing in Victoria, and to be as coherent, as clear as I can about some of the challenges, the opportunities, and provide a future link to us. Like we've been all around the world engaging construction companies to come and work in Victoria. So on the Northeast Link right now, we've got WeBuild, Salini, Asiano working on a lot of our jobs now, and a few other construction companies which really don't have much of a presence in Victoria. So we're on the lookout for opportunity. So whether it's a medium business or a multinational construction company, I'm certainly got my ear to the wall and making sure that we are providing every bit of opportunity for others to come and work in Victoria. So I do see that as a bit, a part of what the event's about as well.
Well, that's great, and I hope plenty of our attendees will take advantage of your invitation to speak and to be able to connect with you, and I hope there will be that sort of value. Just before we finish, Corey, I'd like to ask all our guests in CIB in conversation about a top opportunity, and that is if you're with leading government politicians, or if you're with leading researchers or industrialists, what's the key message or the key challenge that you want people to take away from your keynote?
The key challenge just has to be the people. The people make it or break it. And I think without the right people, the right culture, with the right capabilities, you can get yourself in serious strife. And these jobs are big brownfields, complex jobs, projects. They're really hard, and you need to be on the top of your game. You need your teams of people to actually be working together constructively and coherently. And also, we do need industry to survive as well. So I probably should say that. it's pointless having a trail of contractors going broke. The industry needs to thrive. And I think if you look around the world, there's probably not a great track record in the last 30 years of industry. That's an area now that that we're certainly focused on for sure. But when a project succeeds, it's not just the project being built; it's everybody who gets a benefit out of it needs to as well.
Well, you're an important client for sure, and it's great to hear that. It's very refreshing to hear those sorts of messages coming from such a leading client. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you in Melbourne. I'm really looking forward, I'm sure, on behalf of our audience, to hearing you speak and hopefully connecting in the margins of the conference as well. So, Corey, all I can say is thank you very much indeed for agreeing to speak at the World Building Congress. Thank you for your time today. And just before I go, a big thank you as well to our sponsors, the sponsors of World Building Congress, whose logos will appear here on the screen in a second. And we look forward to seeing you and everyone else in June 2022 for the World Building Congress. Goodbye for now. Thank you.